I wanted to talk a little bit about last week and kind of recap some things we talked about last week. So last week we were talking about your practice to play ratio, right? And that you ought to watch game film and you ought to reevaluate. And shortly after that meeting, Dave walked into my office and said, "You need to watch that meeting." And I said, "Okay." And he was right, because that was a train wreck of a meeting. Oh my God. It was hard at first. And I think sometimes when you do coaching, it's really hard to, because we have egos, right? And we think, I got this. I've been doing this a long time. How bad could it be? It was painful to watch last week's Coffee for Closers call, because I'm pretty sure I said at least 40 times, at least. I'm probably being generous from that standpoint. The technology issues, there was just a whole bunch of things that I learned that I need to get better at. I can still improve. So I want to do almost did it again. So I want you guys to know that it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. You always need to reevaluate your performance. So one, thank you, Dave, for pointing that out. I think it is at least making me aware of things I can do to make this call better. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate the feedback. So with that, I want to jump into something super fun and talk a little bit about the contest.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about this for a second. So in my office, if you look at if you ever come in here and see the camera, you can't see it, but there's a little Post-it note that says "stand still." And I have it on there to remind me, because I watch these calls after I do them sometimes. And I was like, God damn, it's so distracting how much I move around. And but because I'm usually like, I'm just moving and I can't stop moving. And I'm distracted watching myself. Like I can't pay attention to what I'm saying. Jacqueline used to have in her office, I don't know if you still have this, the words "slow down," but spelled out S-L-O-W D-O-W-N, because when she records a video, like I've had to like, oh, you got to go reshoot that video. I didn't understand anything you said. You talk so fast. And so there's always things like that you're going to learn. That's why it's so important to take the time, get calls from after you've made a call to a real estate agent. You don't have to share them all with me. I don't care, but I'm happy to listen. So is Dean, more Dean than I, but the idea being like, you just want to get better. And it's going to tie into what we're talking about later when I talk about the shift in the marketplace. But it is embarrassing. It wasn't fun for me to walk into Dean's office. It wasn't fun for either one of us. Well, it was kind of more fun for me, but it wasn't, it's hard. It's hard to get feedback when you don't realize like, oh crap, I can be better. But that's what you want. You want to have a flawless performance. When you're calling a real estate agent, you want the real estate agent to go like, man, I'd love to meet with you. And you want that when you meet with the real estate agent face to face, you want them to go like, man, I really connect with you. Like that's the goal. If that's the goal, then why wouldn't you practice? Why wouldn't you watch the game film? Why wouldn't you see how good you can get at this? So that's all. Just be humble enough you want to be great. So do the work. It's that simple. Anyway, go ahead.
I want to recognize Ryan for recognizing that there was some things that he wanted to get better on, and he pulled some videos, sent them to Dave and I to review and get together and coach on. So take the initiative, go, where can I get better? Have somebody that'll give you that feedback that you respect and trust, like Dave, and you'll get better. You'll get better. Let's talk about the contest. 7 weeks, we did weekly updates. We did a lot of things. We're really around getting new referral appointments, getting new leads, getting new credit pulls. I want to congratulate everybody that participated and took it on in a big way. I want to give you a couple of results. We got 123 new referral partner appointments during the contest. We had 33 credit pulls from those partners. We did 67 TCA mortgage coaches as a result of those new partners. And we had 4 of those new partnerships partner with us on HomeBot. So I think that's a great result. I think it definitely motivated some folks to do a few things. I want to share the top results here and the winners. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
On my screen? All right, so the top team was team 2, Ryan and Christine, a total of 183 points for the contest, which is really impressive because I don't think Christine had any points for the first 2 weeks. So she really turned it on towards the end. There was a 1 point difference between second and third. Jacqueline Casey edged out Ben and Haley by 1 point at 127 points. So Christine and Ryan will be getting $3,000 to split, $1,500 each for being the top team for the contest. And then Christine was the top overall individual performance at 130 points. Casey came in second at 79 and Haley at 70. So congratulations to everyone.
Great job, you guys. That's impressive. When you look at what, because especially looking at work that people did that hadn't maybe gone out to do a lot of this activity in the past. So great job. That was really fun. Something different. We've never done anything like this before. So we'll cook up something else in the future, but great job. You should be proud of yourselves. Good job. All right.
All right. With that, I want to kick it over to Dave to talk about shifts in the market. How do you handle those type of things? So I'm going to turn that over to him now.
All right. So thanks, Dean. So this is a book that I would recommend for any of you. It's called Shift by Gary Keller. This book was written in 2009. It was published in 2009, which was right after the mortgage meltdown. I'm going to read something from the introduction. First of all, there's a great quote at the front end of this that says, "The worst thing that happens to you can be the best thing for you if you don't let it get the best of you." And the reason this book was so powerful for me is that we were really scared in 2008. John, people that have been in the business that long, there was a couple of months where you're just like, I'm going to be doing this next month. Like, I don't know if I'm going to still do our mortgages going away. Like, that's how scary it was. We're at a point now where clearly mortgages aren't going away, but it was that scary. There was a time when, people were not, people were told at closing table that the company they were getting their loan from wasn't going to send the wire. That's the kind of shit that was happening in August of 2008. So it was frightening. And because companies were just like shutting down, like with no notice. It was bizarre. And then the whole secondary meaning, everything that goes, you go back and read a great book to read. Hank Paulson wrote a book called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a great book. He was the Fed chairman back then, and he wrote a great book on everything that the government did and everything that was going on and how close we were to a worldwide depression. It's freaking insane how intense this really was. And I didn't realize it at the time. I'm kind of glad that I didn't. But so here's the introduction. The real estate market has shifted drastically and dramatically. Sales volume and the number of transactions have dropped significantly. In this book, when he wrote this, it says inventory has reached an all-time high. We could replace that with inventory has reached an all-time low. Buyers have never been more reluctant. Fear is rampant. Anxiety is high. People are getting out of the business left and right. This is the introduction, the first paragraph. Sound familiar? Sure it does. That was 1979, and that's what was happening all around him in Houston, Texas. He was 22 years old. Austin, new to the industry, didn't know anything, and he sold 6 houses his first month in the business, 5 of which closed. Then the market collapsed. Interest rates soared to over 18%. The marketplace fell into chaos and he didn't close a sale for 5 straight months. By Christmas, he was 6 months into his real estate career and broke. My dad offered to help based on my growing database and the business I had in the pipeline. He loaned me $500 to keep going. The next day, my dad's faith in me validated because I wrote a contract on a home. He's got the name for Jack and Dorothy Saul. Ultimately, my hard work paid off and I ended my first 12 months hitting all my financial goals. 8 years later, 1987, it happens again. This time the government changed tax laws. It had a disastrous effect. The market shifted seemingly overnight. The listing inventory went through the roof. Sales transactions fell to the floor and the local real estate board went from over 5,000 members to below 2,000. Panic and confusion reigned. It felt like everyone was running helter-skelter, looking for shelter, but finding no place to hide. There was no escaping the shift. And by this time, I had started my own company. We'd become the 10th largest in the market, but my competitors were going bankrupt all around me. The number of my agents in my office went from 70 to below 40. And in the midst of getting my feet back under me and reestablishing my profit margin, a new competitor entered the market. 5 of my top 10 associates left. My business world was being assaulted from all sides. As bad as my first market shift was as an agent, it was way worse as an owner. And in the end, I found my way through the shift just as I had before. And once again, I not only survived, I thrived and ultimately emerged stronger, more capable than ever. Less than 2 years after the shift, our company became #1 in our market, a position that we've never relinquished. Are you facing a shift? If you are, you shouldn't be surprised. This is for all of you now. History repeats itself. This is not the first time real estate professionals have been in this position. This is not the first time mortgage lenders have either. What's happening today has happened before, and it's destined to happen again. This won't be the only time this happens in your careers. Rob, Cole, Haley, Matt, Jessica, just now getting in the business, Christine, Jan, you guys haven't been in the business long enough. This isn't the first time. This isn't the only time you're going to go through something like this. And so this isn't what's happening today has happened before. It will happen again. Real estate market shift. They always have, and they always will. And the business goes on as bleak as things can look during these shifts. When I look back, I believe they've served as a genesis for everything I've become and the catalyst for all that I've achieved. In fact, I've come to see them as opportunities. So can you. So the point is that shifts have happened. This isn't as scary as it is, because it is scary. Like I said, I told you guys this last week. It's like, yeah, I'm scared. I don't like this shit. I don't like that we've only written 12 applications this week. That annoys the living shit out of me. And so I think we hit 13. But the point is that here's what happens when you do a shift. This is why I say just pay attention to what's going on around you. When shifts occur, fear runs rampant. You saw Giuseppe's email yesterday, right? Realtors are scared. That's an opportunity for you to be the voice of reason, to be the voice of sanity, to bring facts, not fear, to what they're thinking about, because they're scared, right? So don't be scared. Be the one who's telling them what's really going on. Some individuals, although they do feel the fear, also know they are in an equal opportunity, unequal reward business. Equal opportunity, unequal reward. It's really the 80-20 rule at work. Pay attention, everyone. 20% of the people will do 80% of the business in any entrepreneurial adventure, right? Endeavor, I'm sorry. Those who understand this know they have to be better than average to earn better than average rewards. Let me say it again. Those who understand this know they must be better than average to earn better than average awards. That's just rewards. That's just how it is. It's always been that way, whether we're in a shift or not. If individuals understand a shift or actually have experienced one, they know they have to push past the fear and face 2 tests, first to survive and then to thrive. They have to hang tough until the law of equilibrium reasserts itself. Then it's opportunity time. This book, I would recommend, and I would recommend maybe buying some copies for some agents. There's 12 tactics that they get into. The first one is get real and get right with your mindset. If you're telling yourself this is bad, Rob and Cole, brand new in the business, well, it's different now than when other people got in the business, and maybe I can't. Like the game is lost before you've started playing, right? We haven't even kicked off and the game's over. You're going to lose if that's your mindset. You can't approach it that way. You have to have a different mindset that just says, this is awesome. I get an opportunity to go out there and and educate agents when every other loan officer is freaking out. The world has lived on refinance transactions, guys. 80%, I think 78% or 80% of Rocket Mortgage business last year was refi. There's not going to be, there maybe 5 or 10% of the transactions this year will end up being refinance transactions nationally. They're screwed. They've started the layoffs. They've happened. You're already hearing about the layoffs happening everywhere else. Your competitors are going to get out of this business. The loan officers that you compete with real estate agents are going to get out of the business. Some of the real estate agents are going to get out of the business too. Your job is to go out and educate and be the voice of reason. And it's now more than ever important that your prospecting activity goes to like full tilt, right? Because that's where the opportunity lies. This is the opportunity to gain a lot of market share because you for sure have to stay in front of your existing referral partners. So those of you that have already established relationships, you got to hang on to those relationships. Don't let anything happen to this. So make sure you've built a fortress around what you already have so that nothing happens that potentially puts you in a position to lose that business, because that's market share that you already have. Okay, so and as the market's going down, if the transactions are reducing, you're going to gain market share because you're going to keep what you already have, right? That's important. And if you can go out and add to what you already have by developing further relationships, being the voice of reason, sharing the information like what Giuseppe sent out yesterday, and continuing to look for and find information just like that, buying yourself a copy of this book and find the strategies and tactics that you can share. There's some great stuff in here. I really do believe in my heart of hearts that this can be the best opportunity that you've ever had. And rates, like John says all the time, the rate is the least important part of this of a mortgage transaction if you know how to sell around that, right? Like right now, if I was still originating, I would be making sure that I was showing every one of my clients, once we've settled on a loan structure, a no-cost loan. And I'd be telling them why they should do that, because I believe that in less than 12 to 18 months, there's going to be a great opportunity to refi. And I don't want you to have spent a bunch of money on closing costs, because I'm going to get you out of this loan. We'll do another no closing cost loan for you, because with our, once you do a loan with us, you're not going to pay lender fees again. So it'll be easy to do another no cost loan and get you I'm not saying that's the only thing I would do, but I want to make sure that you understand why this is. You become so much more valuable to your clients if you just think through what these challenges are, instead of acting like, oh my God, what am I going to do? If that's your attitude, if that's your mentality, you're screwed. You're going to lose. And you should, I'm not threatening you. I'm saying like, this gets really painful if you have the wrong mindset. It's really painful and it's depressing and it's sad, and it doesn't have to be. I'm like excited. This is an opportunity to go out and get some business. So just know that and understand what's going on. The fear that's in the marketplace is real. And there's an opportunity for you to capitalize, not on the fear, but to capitalize on being the voice of reason and the one that's sharing everything that needs to be shared. So there's 12 great strategies in this book. They talk about lead gen, talk about lead conversion. Everything that you do, you have to get better at. So we were talking about your practice to play ratio. Every deal matters. Not that it didn't matter before, but every deal matters even more now. There was a time when we were doing all those refis where like, I got 15 loans closing. I didn't get that 16th one. Well, we're not there anymore, are we? Right? Like every freaking deal matters. And everybody that you're getting a loan for at 5% plus is going to refinance to 4.5, and then they'll refinance to 4, and then they'll refinance to 3.5, and you're going to be doing that's the nature of this industry. Those that have been in it for a while know what I'm talking about. Chris, you're unmuted. You've seen this. Share your takeaways.
Oh, dude, you got me all jacked up right now. I'm pumped. Let's go. Seriously though. I was gonna just chime in because when I got in, I started in 2010 as a processor, and then I May of 2011 was when Dave told me to go on my own and without a plan. So you guys are all lucky. And I thought, I was like, I mean, it was bad. I went to open houses to meet realtors, and there were no buyers in the homes. Like, it was a whole different market. Like no one wanted to buy a home. Like this is actually a good problem. People want to buy homes. There's just nothing to buy. So you just got to do a good job of, like Dave said, showing a lot of value, meeting with clients and like following up with them so they don't switch to another lender, or, you know, their realtor tries to take them somewhere else, or they get another realtor and try to go with another lender. But I'd go to open houses and there was nobody there. And it was kind of sad. Like people were getting out of business. And I told Dave, I was like, man, I thought I got in at the wrong time too. Cause I was like, man, everyone already refinanced. There's no refi business anymore because everyone already did it. And obviously that was wrong, but I think, you know, kind of what Ryan said earlier, you just need one, when you're starting, you need one good realtor. That's all I had. And she would just tell the other agents how good of a job I did on the listing side, and I would follow up with them, and it kind of just sprawled from there. So you just need one or two really good agents that love you and just, you know, that trust you, and you're just going to, you know, get kick-started and get going. So that's all you
You're
need.
doing
So
business
keep
with
doing
Judy
the work.
Pottle today, aren't you?
Yeah, Judy Paulo. If I kind of like drew back like one of those like web things, like to all like I met that agent and then that client, and then they referred me to that client, and that client referred me like these three buyers. Like it would probably be like half my deals go back to one person.
That's amazing.
It's crazy, but it's true.
Hold on. Thank
So-
you. John, go ahead. Thanks, Chris.
Since you're talking about the Explodometer, I just pulled it up. It's still an active website. I just wanted to give a little context here. By the time
Does anybody know what this
Um,
is? It's the Implodometer, right?
Explodometer, I'll send out the link. It started actually in 2006. This is what's really interesting. We talk about the crash of 2008, but going back to 2006 is when a lot of lenders started getting out of the business. A lot. By the end of 2007, there were 212 major operations that had already gone out of business. And you start seeing like the end of this, like in December, there's like citing declining market conditions, but we don't even associate that with 2007. This goes into 2008. So it kind of goes with what I sent yesterday. Like this is not 2008. We didn't have 200 major funding banks, lines of credit, those kind of things go out of business with, you know, in the past 2 years. So it is a very different situation right now, but I'm going to share this with everybody. It's really interesting if you want to click through the stuff that was going out of business and their press releases from 2008, 2007. But yeah, 388 major lenders in 4 years went out of business in that time period.
And they were big.
Like half of
We're talking about
them were before 2008.
We're talking like Washington Mutual, which was a bank.
Well, Washington Mutual was
IndyMac
December
was a bank.
12th. Washington Mutual was December 12th. I just found them. And that's when I saw that, and because they would solicit the crap out of us. When they closed down, I was like, oh, something's going on here.
That was when
that
National City called us and said, hey, we're not doing HELOCs anymore. And we used to do tons of National City HELOCs, first, second HELOCs. And it was weird because in 2006, 7, they started doing 100% CLTV HELOCs. They did 80% first, 20% second. Then they peeled it back to 95. And then like a week later, they went to 90. And then a week later, they went to 85. And then they just called and said, hey, we're not doing this anymore. Like they literally stopped lending money across the country. And so I just pulled up our stats. I'll share this real quick so that you can see, and then we'll let everybody get out of here. We'll make some calls because you're all excited now. This is 2007. So if you can see, just pay attention to these columns right here because they're all stacked on top of each other. But 2007, we did 117 transactions for 24 million. In 2008, 161 transactions for 34 million. Still just me and Giuseppe originating. Giuseppe didn't start. This was essentially all my production except for a few, I don't know how many deals Giuseppe did in 07. He wasn't originating on his own. February of 2008, I told Giuseppe, dude, it's time. You're ready. Go on your own. And so he started doing his own production. And right around here, he started passing me every month, which annoyed the shit out of me. So like, I'm like, God damn it, what's going on? But you can see we had 12, 9, 18 transactions. 2009, 243 transactions for 56 million. 2010, 253 for 61 million. 2011, 272 for 65 million. We kept growing, right? Like we didn't. So, and it was just, we weren't big. We didn't have a lot of loan officers working here. So this was just, the point is that just because the market sucked doesn't mean you can't grow. And that's, I really need you to hear that, because everybody thinks the other way. Like the herd mentality is, this is bad. That's the herd mentality. You can't run with the herd. You've got to decide that this is an opportunity that you're going to go pursue. And I promise you'll come out of the other side of this going, man, I'm killing it. Because you're going to have you're going to have a bunch of people that you've been talking to for a long time, that now's the time for them to buy, even though they weren't ready to buy. Now, when you talk to those people, like that's what you're doing, is you're stacking up a database of people that are going to be waiting for you on the other side of this. And but you don't have the contacts. If you're not out meeting the realtors now and you're going to wait, you're screwed. You're screwed, because they're all going to go. A lot of them are going to get out of the business. Realtors are going to get out of the business too. But I'm excited about all the loan officers that are going to get out of the business, because a lot of people just jump into this space when rates are low and refinances are just falling from the sky. This is a great opportunity, everybody. So let's go out and kick some ass. All right.
All right. Make it a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome day.